Welcome to Forsyth County and new Educator Orientation. I'm Kristen Morrissey, and I'm honored to serve as the chair of the Board of Education at Forsyth County Schools. I'm also a parent of a senior at Lambert High School who is anxiously looking at Parent Portal right now, waiting to get her schedule to come out any second. And I also have a 2016 graduate from there as well. Throughout our event today, please feel free to share your photos and comments on social media using the hashtag FCSNEO. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to introduce the 4 other members of our Board of Education. Please stand when I call your name. Vice Chairperson Wes McCall. Lindsay Adams. Tom Cleveland. And Darla Light. She's in the back. I'd like to tell you a little bit more of our board members so you get to know. We are a very mixed group. Vice Person Wes McCall, like me, Wes is the dad of a high schooler. 1 year younger than my child. He may not have any yet, but I'm pretty sure he'll be having some gray hair soon. Wes is a big believer in communication and has been instrumental in the creation and the work of the Homeless Youth Council. Lindsay Adams, a former teacher herself, is a mom of 4 younger kids, and I would say curriculum is her calling. Tom Cleveland, he's our most veteran of the board members. 17 years now, Tom? He is also one of our computer gurus. He's our drug liaison member, and he's also our barbecue master. And last, by no means least, is Darla Light. Darla is a lifelong Forsyth County resident. She's a small business owner, and she's also a graduate of Forsyth Central. Darla is also probably one of the few women our age who doesn't mind being called grandma, or in her case, dandy. And she's also our resident sports expert. And no one tells a story like Darla Light. At this time, I would like to invite Vice Chair Wes McCall to the stage.
Good morning. Please stand for a moment of silence as the North Forsyth High School Marine Corps' JROTC presents the colors of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Thank you to the North Forsyth High School Marine Corps JROTC. You may be seated.
I want to thank the representatives with us today from PAGE, GAE, and Educators First for attending, and I would like to recognize our signature sponsors. Can you please come to the stage as I introduce you? Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Forsyth. Children's is located at the Collection of Forsyth at exit 13 off Georgia 400. They are partners with all Forsyth schools and a great supporter of our district. Evan Profeta, State Farm Insurance. Evan's State Farm office is located at Old Atlanta Road near South Forsyth Middle School. Evan, who also serves as chairperson of our Education Foundation, and his team are proud to serve the insurance needs of Forsyth County educators. Georgia Credit Union. The Credit Union is a nonprofit financial cooperative that has proudly served FCS staff and worked with our schools for over 20 years. Located on Highway 20 near downtown Cumming, they offer a variety of competitive and free financial services to our employees. John Heath and Your Results team, Keller Williams Realty. John and his team have worked with FCF for over a decade. They donate $1,000 to any Forsyth County School approved program for each closing referred to them by a teacher, a parent, or staff member. And NetRef. As you begin your journey in FCF and are learning about your classroom management systems, you've probably heard about NetRef. This company gives you the ability to manage and monitor device usage in your classroom. Unfortunately, they were not able to be with us here today, but we appreciate them sponsoring your t-shirts you'll receive later today. Sponsors, would you like to say a few words?
Good morning. So exciting to see all of you here, especially back in person. We missed last year, so it's great to see everyone's smiling faces this morning. On behalf of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, we do have a local urgent care that's open year-round, available when your pediatrician is not, for those of you who have children. We would like to welcome you to one of the best school systems in the state of Georgia. You have made an excellent choice. As a parent of 2 children and a community leader, we support you 100% and hope you have an outstanding school year.
Good morning. As Lori said, it is fantastic to see everyone in person. It's a relief. I'm Evan Profeta. I'm the parent of an incoming freshman at South Forsyth High School and a 5th grader at Hall Creek, which is hard for us to believe. I'm a State Farm agent here in Forsyth County, have been for 17 years, and I'm excited, as I know all of you are, those that I've talked to this morning. I've asked how you're doing, and the result has been, I'm excited. And this meeting is always that way. First, because, of course, it symbolizes new beginnings. Some of you, of course, are beginning a new career. Others are opening a new chapter in your book, and that's in and of itself exciting. But the other reason that we share with you in that excitement is because this meeting represents the anniversary of our partnership with Partners in Education, and we're celebrating 15 years of involvement with this great school system. And we're grateful for that. The opportunities that have been afforded to us by partnering with Forsyth County Schools has given us a number of ways to stay involved. Forsyth County Schools and our organization, State Farm, share the burden of being the best. A common theme in the meetings that I get to attend is often, and I'm sure you will hear about it again this morning, how do we make the best even better? And as you all know, that is no small task. And the truth is, to accomplish this, it takes every single member of the team, of all of the teams that you're joining, to take ownership of the issues and lead from where you stand to make a difference. And that's something that my team and I get to do on a daily basis, and we want to be a resource for you. Even if you don't buy from us, please take a few minutes during the break, stop by and say hello. Get a yardstick. It's a classroom classic, okay? Everybody needs a yardstick, or at least an opportunity that we get to learn about you and what you're taking on in your new role. And please know that we're here to help you, and We are grateful for the teachers and administrators that have trusted us with your coverage. We want to thank you for your business, and we want you to know that we exist to serve you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ken Shanowski. I'm with Georgia United Credit Union. In case many of you don't know, a credit union does everything a bank does, but we're a not-for-profit financial institution, so all our accounts are free, no minimum balance, no monthly service charges. Business out of the way. Now, being that I'm a retired teacher, I have to get away from a podium because I want to see who's on their email and Instagram and checking their things. So I want to say welcome. It's a pleasure to have an opportunity to talk to you. In 1958, a group of 7 educators each put $5 in a cigar box and formed the credit union that is Georgia United. We have been ranked as the best in-state credit union the last 3 years by Forbes magazine. We're here to serve you. And as a retired educator, I know what you're thinking right now. I remember my new teacher orientation in a different century. Yeah, I know. I had hair then. And I still remember sitting in the auditorium and listening to people in that air of excitement. And whether you're a first-year teacher or a transferring teacher, there's always something special about this day. We are here to serve you. What I do for the credit union is I help teach financial education and financial literacy seminars around the state to our 400-plus partner companies, state of Georgia employees, all K through 12 students, as well as Board of Regents universities. I had a student ask me after I did a Zoom webinar, which, yes, I had to learn how to do Zoom webinars recently, and they said, well, thank you for teaching us about budgeting, and thank you for teaching us about understanding credit and how to protect against identity theft, but why is this important? And I said, well, think about it for a second. How many cars do you buy in your lifetime? How many homes will you buy in your lifetime? The fact that a credit union is always 1% to 6% cheaper on an auto loan than a bank, and we have half the fees on a mortgage, over the course of your lifetime, you can save tens of thousands of dollars that you can keep for your retirement. All right? That's why I do what I do. Stop by my table, pick up my email address on my card, and my covenant with anyone I come into contact with is it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow. If you ever need anything, you email me. And if I'm not the biggest brain in the room who knows the answer to that question, I work in a building with a lot of really intelligent people. And the final piece of advice I'll give to you, and I've been waiting 2 years to do this, and Dr. Beard knows this piece of advice. I'm often asked on college campuses by new teachers, hey, what's advice for a new teacher? How can I be successful? And I say, well, first of all, the day-to-day stuff is pretty much a dice throw. It's, you don't know what trash can is going to be set on fire. I said, but here are 3 things you can do this week to prepare yourself to get ready for this year. First of all, train your sleep habits. No more naps in the afternoon, okay? Got to get rid of them. You got to wake up early, get your sleep patterns all set. Secondly, look at your lunch schedule and figure out when you're going to have lunch. Some of you may be eating at 10:30 in the morning. Some of you may be eating at 1 in the afternoon. Start training your body when you're going to be eating. Also have a very robust snack drawer, okay? Very, very important. And the final thing, you got to start training your bladders. All right, because you can't just go to the bathroom anytime you want now, bio breaks and those things. So on behalf of Georgia United Credit Union, have a great year. If you ever need anything, and as the proud father of an educator, there's nothing that I and we wouldn't do to help you be successful in your role. Thank you again.
Good morning. Welcome to the greatest school system in the world, in my opinion, as a parent who has 2 30-year-olds that went through the system, and as a member of the community for a long time. What you guys do make my job as a realtor very easy, and we want to reward you for that. So, as Kristen mentioned, we have a program we've actually been doing for 20 years. So far, we have donated over $138,000 back to teachers and the school system, either through the referral program or through just donations, $2,500 just in the last 2 weeks. So we appreciate everything you guys do. I want you to remember 2 things, because you're hearing a lot of stuff today. Best realtor in the world, okay, most important, and free money. So if you went by my table, you got a QR code. Only 30 of you scanned it, and Miss Allison Roth was the lucky winner of the first $100 we're giving away. So my version of Vanna White is Sonia Bullard with Acopia Loans. Acopia will donate 0.25% back to you at closing if you use them for your loan. And through our referral program, we'll give $1,000, either $500 to you or $500 to your classroom, or if you're referring somebody else, we can give them $500 and $500 to the classroom. So again, thank you guys for everything you do for our community, and good luck to you this year.
Thank you, sponsors. Next, we'd like to share some information about how we got here today as a county and as a school district. This area was first inhabited by the Mississippi Indian civilization and then followed for centuries by the Creek and Cherokee nations. Forsyth County was created in 1832 from Cherokee County and was conveniently situated between Hall County and the Dahlonega Gold Belts. The county's soil was not suited for growing crops, so there was limited population growth around the Civil War period. After the Depression and World War II, a new crop was introduced to Forsyth County: chicken farming. Chicken farming greatly impacted the standard of living for our rural area, which led to a large number of children becoming first-generation college graduates. Then, in the 1950s, Buford Dam was built on the Chattahoochee River, and Lake Lanier was formed and became a major water source for the metropolitan Atlanta area. More than 7.5 million people visit Lake Lanier annually, making it one of the most popular Army Corps of Engineers lakes in the country. In the 1970s, Georgia 400 was opened, providing a quicker transportation route to and from Atlanta. Additional transportation improvements are currently underway in our county, including a new exit 18 up in North Forsyth. From 1970 to 2000, our population increased 481%, and from 2000 to 2010, it increased an additional 78%. Over the next decade until now, 2021, the county's population increased again 46%. So it's no surprise Forsyth County is consistently ranked as one of the fastest growing counties in the United States, and we expect this trend to continue. In fact, it was just yesterday, I think Dr. Breeden let us know that our enrollment is expected to be over 52,000 this year when we open our schools. The school district's history started in 1873 when old field schools, or log buildings with dirt floors on cleared fields, were consolidated into one district. In 1874, Forsyth County Schools had 1,456 students, 114 Black or African American, and 1,342 white. To put this into perspective, the entire school district back then would now fit into Riverwatch Middle School. Here we go, here's the number for you. In 1873, our teachers were paid $29.97 a month. Well, I'm happy to tell you at this point, or you wouldn't be here, that for our current fiscal year, we approved a budget that included a step raise for our eligible staff and a 1% cost of living adjustment for all staff. That's a round of applause one, I think, for the. In the early 1900s, 16 of our schools were African American Black schools, and New Hope was one of the largest at the time. In the fall of 2022, we opened up our 23rd elementary school, and it's named New Hope Elementary, honoring this former field school. We try to honor our past by naming many of our new schools after former field schools, communities, and local and school leaders. Since the early 1900s, the consolidation of community schools occurred as the county changed from strictly agrarian to becoming much more diversified. Big Creek Elementary is our oldest of the 22 schools, built in 1938. Shown in this slide is the former Cumming High School, which was replaced in 1955 by Forsyth County High School. Once we added more high schools, the high school's name was changed to Forsyth Central. Okay, go ahead, wave. Did you guys arrive today in typical limousine? There we go. Forsyth Central is known for their traditions. That's good. Today, Forsyth County is home to over 258 residents across 247 miles. So why are so many people choosing to move forward with Forsyth County? Obviously, the number one reason is our schools. Additionally, our community values a high quality of life where they can live, work, and play. For employment, our strong economy, highly educated residents, and talented workforce, like you all, have helped us become home to more than 7,000 businesses, including 75 international companies. We've also been named the healthiest county in Georgia for 8 years in a row, with over 25 parks in the county, including walking trails, recreation centers, dog parks, campgrounds, and more. The Big Creek Greenway, Sunny Mountain Preserve, Pools Mill Covered Bridge, for which Pools Mill Elementary was named after, are a few of our most popular amenities. Many events and activities are held annually throughout our community, including the Coming Country Fair, the Play at the Park, and the July 4th Steam Engine Parade. Mixed-use developments like Halcyon and the Cumming City Center, which is currently under construction, give our residents places to relax and connect. All of these offerings make Forsyth County one of the best areas in the country to call home. So who is Forsyth County today? Let's watch this video and find out. That's pretty good. Well, thank you, Jennifer Crotchell and her team, for making that video. That was awesome. The takeaway we hope you get from watching the State of Schools videos, that as part of this system, you are now part of a large family. One of the many things that makes Forsyth County Schools special is that even with our growth, as you saw, we still maintain a small town feel and form connections that go beyond the walls of our schools. Now that you know how we got here and some information about our community and schools, I'm pleased to turn the presentation over to Superintendent Bearden so you can learn more about who we are and where we're going. Our superintendent, Dr. Jeff Bearden, has been with us 8 years now, I believe. If you haven't met Dr. Bearden yet, you may just bump into him sometime soon. Jeff regularly gets out and visits our school to stay in touch with all the great things we're doing because all of our schools are so very different. He also likes to stay in touch with the reason we do what we do, and that, of course, is our kids. Last week, we had a meeting with some of our students and recent graduates to discuss and learn their thoughts on diversity and inclusion in our system. It was a really great meeting. Jeff was as comfortable with those kids as if he had been teaching them for years. Finally, while Dr. Bearden has very high expectations for all of his staff, he's also very approachable and earnest in his belief that every employee in our system contributes to our purpose. Please welcome Dr. Jeff Bearden.
Good morning and welcome to the Forsyth County Schools family. I hope you're proud to have been selected. You should be. There is tremendous competition for jobs in our school system, and we are certainly proud to have you join our family. Before I begin the district overview, I want to share a little information about you, our 326 new educators. I'm going to introduce you all individually and tell a little bit about you. That's a joke. We have 62 of you who are former Forsyth County substitute teachers or paraprofessionals that now have been appointed to teachers. 32 of you are returning to Forsyth County. You once taught here and now you're coming back. You saw that the grass was not greener. If you are a member of one of these groups, either a former substitute, former paraprofessional, or a former teacher in Forsyth County Schools, please stand so we can welcome you back. Thank you. We have 34 new educators that are joining us from 18 states outside of the state of Georgia, most coming from the state of Tennessee. If you are from out of state and now call Georgia your home, please stand so we can recognize you. Rule number one, you must support the Georgia Bulldogs. 80 of you are recent college graduates from 22 universities, with the most coming from the University of North Georgia. If you are a recent college graduate, and you're the ones with the really young faces out there, please stand so we can recognize you. Welcome. Last, and this is a statistic I'm really proud of, we have 182 Georgia teachers who are joining the Forsyth County Schools family from other school districts, private schools, and the private sector, with 41 coming from private schools and 141 coming from 35 different Georgia school districts. If you're joining us from another district or any of those categories, would you please stand and be recognized? And we know why you're here. Our reputation is out there, the best school system in the state of Georgia. I'm glad you have joined us. If you are a former Forsyth County School student, if you graduated from one of our high schools, would you please stand to be recognized? Awesome. Awesome. We love to grow our own, and we are so proud that you decided to rejoin us and be part of this community once again. And if you just happen to wander off the street for free food, no, I'm just kidding. Also, we have a number of our induction leaders here this morning. If you're an induction leader helping us out today, please stand so we can recognize you. Okay, a few of them here. Great, thank you. Forsyth County Schools is proud to be one of the top districts in Georgia and the entire country. This success has been accomplished through the dedication to our mission and a commitment to continuous improvement through the cooperative efforts of all stakeholders. Our vision is quality learning and superior performance for all. And this is exemplified not only in the achievements highlighted in the earlier video, but also in the classrooms daily and in the well-rounded students who graduate from one of our schools each May. Each student has the opportunity to engage in a quality education that will take them beyond the classroom walls and into a successful life. But our success did not happen overnight. It started with the hard work and a commitment of a few around solid beliefs, which led to many more joining our district to further our mission. This morning, I'm asking you to allow these to become shared beliefs, because we take these beliefs on this screen seriously. These shared beliefs are the heart of what makes Forsyth County Schools work so well. I referred to our school district as the Forsyth County Schools family earlier, and I want you to know that we really do consider our staff, our students, and their families members of our family. Forsyth County Schools is extremely progressive, yet maintains a welcoming and caring culture. Our primary customer is the individual student. As you can see, the student is in the center of everything that we do. The district works collaboratively with other customers, such as staff, parents, citizens, and businesses, to support our students. In Forsyth County Schools, with every decision we make, we always ask, what is best for our students? The learner profile is our end in mind for all of our students. As a new teacher to our system, you must align your work to the learner profile. It doesn't matter if you're teaching kindergarten or high school seniors. The learner profile is the work of Forsyth County Schools. All of our system-wide decisions around teaching and learning are designed through the lens of our learner profile. It's prominently displayed throughout our system and must be displayed in every classroom. But don't just hang it on the wall. Align your work and discuss with your students at their level in language they can understand what the learner profile means for them. It's printed on the back of your program, and you'll hear from some of our students later on in this program what the learner profile means to them. Our school system, our state, our nation, our world has gone through a lot over the last 18 months. COVID-19 was a challenge we have never encountered before, and I hope we never encounter again. But we learned some valuable lessons that will make us better as a school system. And as we say in Forsyth County Schools all of the time, we're either getting better or we're getting worse. There is no such thing as status quo. In Forsyth County Schools, we've always placed a premium on relationships. We are a people business. We are a relationship business. Because of COVID, we truly realize how important it is to build great relationships with our students, parents, and with one another. We had a very successful 2020-21 school year, and the number one reason why was because of our focus on relationships. That must and will continue. Our teachers learn new strategies, develop new resources, and work collaboratively to meet the needs of all of our students. In our school system, we share great ideas. We realize we're always better when we work together as a team. These past 18 months have also presented some social challenges in our nation and our world. Those challenges are not lost on our students. As Kristen mentioned earlier, met with a number of our students last week, and it was a very powerful conversation. I would argue that today's student is more socially aware than any other generation. They care, and they share their ideas and opinions. Since 2017, our district has worked on a diversity, equity, and inclusion plan. Our overall objective from the beginning was simple. We want all students, all families, all staff to feel welcome and accepted in our family. Our community is very diverse, and we become even more diverse every year. It is our responsibility to know our students and know our families very well. I would submit to you that you cannot possibly serve your students to the best of your ability unless you truly know them. There are many cultures represented in our community. Our children come from different life experiences. Learn about them. Respect and embrace the differences. Accept every child for who they are. We have been accused, as many school systems throughout our country have been accused, of teaching critical race theory and attempting to indoctrinate children. That is simply not the truth. There is no such thing as a critical race theory curriculum. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is not synonymous with critical race theory. Within our DEI plan, we have been intentional about encouraging underrepresented students to challenge themselves and to take more rigorous courses, and we've been very successful in that endeavor. We've been intentional about creating cultural fairs at our schools to give our community an opportunity to learn about the different cultures that make up our wonderful community. We've offered voluntary training opportunities for our staff to learn about the different cultures and the dimensions of diversity that exist in our community. We've been intentional about recruiting a diverse pool of professional candidates for jobs in Forsyth County schools. After all, 52% of our students are white. More than 90% of our professional staff is white. Within a couple of years, we will be a majority-minority school system. The research is evident. It shows that all students perform at a higher level when taught by a diverse professional staff. We've done better in this area, but we must be intentional in our efforts to continue to improve. And I ask for your assistance. If you have a great experience here in Forsyth County Schools, and I think you will, please encourage your friends and colleagues to give Forsyth County a look. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to work. Why is that? As Kristen said earlier, we are the wealthiest and healthiest county in the entire state of Georgia. We have awesome recreational opportunities. We are blessed to work in a community that supports our schools. You heard from several of our sponsors this morning. Our community, our business partners are incredibly engaged. They want us to be successful. Because of our homeschool and community partnerships, we have the very best school system. Forsyth County is a great place for all families to live and work. But let's not sugarcoat the fact there is tension in our country. There is political tension and there is racial tension. But I believe this: there are more good people than bad people. There are more people that want us to work in unity than there are those who are seeking to divide us. There is hope for a better tomorrow. As educators, we have to be part of the solution. We can build that bridge for a brighter future. In fact, I believe it's our moral responsibility to be that bridge. And how do we do that? Every day, every single day, we can model for our children what it is to be a good citizen. We can show respect to those who are not like us, who do not look like us, who perhaps do not believe as we believe. As Stephen Covey, author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." Never forget that. Seek first to understand. We can and must embrace and support all children, all 52,000 of them. We can ensure that every child has the resources he or she needs to be successful. We can create a culture and climate where students want to come to school, a place where parents want to send their children, and where we as the professionals want to come to work. That's what it's all about, culture and climate. Our number one charge is to create the conditions for success. And I hope you note throughout this talk, I have not said one word about test scores, nor will I. Create culture and climate first, students will achieve. I will visit schools, I'll visit classrooms. You may wonder what I'm looking for. First and foremost, as I said earlier, I'm looking for that positive culture and climate. The guiding question for me, and I have 3 adult children, but this is the guiding question I always ask: would I want my own child to be in this school? Would I want my own child to be a student in this classroom? What would I want for my own child? For my child to be safe, to be respected, to be respectful, to be known, to be appreciated, to be celebrated, to be appropriately challenged, to be healthy, and most importantly, to be happy. How many of you are parents? Raise your hand. Wouldn't you want that for your own child? Let's make this interactive for a moment. For some of you, you might have to really charge your memory bank. But I want you to think back when you were in school. And I want you to think about the very best teacher you ever experienced when you were a student in school. What are some 1 or 2 word descriptors you would use to describe that teacher? Just shout them out really loud. Loving, positive, personable, fun, challenging, understanding. What was that? Use your teacher voice. Engaging. Okay, got it. Erase that teacher for a second. Now I want you to think about the absolute worst teacher you ever had. Someone probably comes to mind. without using any profanity. What are some one or two words you would use to describe that teacher? Negative. Lazy. Some of you need therapy. Oh, hold on. Okay, again, say it again. We have great counselors in our school system. We can help you get through this. So what are some other descriptors? What was that? Did you say drugged? Drunk. Oh, drunk. That's not good. Okay, let's go over some rules. Rule number 1, if you show up drunk to work, you are going to get fired. Make that positive. I'm sorry you had that experience. Anybody else? Boring. Uninterested. Okay, you get the point, okay? So my next question for all of you is this. Some of you are just starting your career. Some of you are joining us from another school system. Today should be a fresh start for every single one of you. So my question to you is, what kind of teacher are you going to be in Forsyth County Schools? You are going to be remembered. Just like you remembered teachers when I asked you that question, who was your best, who was your worst, you are going to be remembered. You are going to leave a legacy. What will it be? Remember this. Kids will not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Kids will not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Please remember that. We now have 6 of our current amazing teachers, and they are amazing. They are leaving a legacy daily with us. I want you to meet them. At this time, to introduce them, I'd like to introduce to you our Associate Superintendent for Human Resources and Legal Services. She holds the distinction of having the largest job title in Forsyth County Schools. Please welcome Dr. Cindy Salome.
Good morning and welcome to the Forsyth County Schools family. You are going to find it is a great place to work, and for those of you who are bringing children, a great place to raise and educate your children. Please join me in welcoming our finalists for the 2021 Forsyth County Teacher of the Year. I would like to ask them to join me on stage. Laura Adams, Sandy Foreman, Katie James, Allison Jones, Christy Snape, and Rachel Van Dyke. You see, we are a family. We make them carry their own furniture. We'll be asking them some questions today about being a teacher in Forsyth County. But first, I want them to introduce themselves to you and share a little bit about their background.
Good morning. First of all, you guys look wonderful. You look great. Welcome to Forsyth County. I am Laura Adams, and I have been a teacher. This is the start of my 16th year teaching, and it's my 6th year in Forsyth County. I do remember sitting right in your seat just 6 years ago. A couple of things about me. This is my home, so welcome to Denmark. This is where I teach. And I have a couple different jobs that I do here at Denmark. First and foremost, I am a career and technical teacher. I oversee our teaching as a profession pathway. And so those of you who are returning to Forsyth County as who were students that are now teachers, welcome, because that's what I tell all my students. We want to grow our own teachers. And the second thing I do here is I am the CTI coordinator. I have the privilege of working with our special education students as a career interventionist, and I support our special ed students in our career and technical classes. So welcome.
Good morning and welcome to Forsyth County. You have made an excellent choice. This is a great school system to work with. My name is Sandy Foreman, and I am a 7th grade math teacher at Little Mill Middle School. And this is my 12th year of teaching and my 12th year in the county. So I'm a second career teacher. My first was computer programming, but I have loved my experience here, and I wish you the best as you start your career.
Good morning. My name is Katie James, and I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade reading literacy at South Forsyth Middle School. I am actually beginning my 18th year in education, my 6th in Forsyth County, and I, like many of you, came from another county, and I have never looked back. I also coach track at the middle school, and so I have an opportunity to work with students in all grade levels in the classroom and out of the classroom.
Good morning. I'm Allison Jones. I am entering my 5th year teaching, and I sat right where you guys were. I feel like it was just yesterday that I was right there. I am a graduate of the system as well, so those of you that are returning back to the school system to begin your career, you have made an incredible choice as well. I teach at Cumming Elementary. I have a K-5 specialized instruction classroom, which means that I teach students in special ed with severe and profound intellectual disabilities. You guys have made an incredible choice, and I know all of us up here would say that we are here to support you, so if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out.
Hey guys, welcome. My name is Christy Snape, and this is my 6th year teaching in Forsyth County, but my 12th year overall. I also came from another county and have never looked back. I see a trend up here. I teach at Kelly Mill, and I work in a specialized instruction class, so like Allison, I work with students on the autism spectrum in grades 3, 4, and 5. Thanks.
Morning, y'all. My name is Rachel Van Dyke. I'm a skills-based autism teacher at Lambert High School, and I have the distinct opportunity of also returning as a former student. So congrats. It's such an awesome opportunity to come back and teach in the school system that built you. So thank you for choosing Forsyth County, because as a former student, I know the impact that you all are going to make on these students, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today.
Now that you've met them, we want to ask them some questions. I'm going to start with Rachel. Rachel, what is a secret that helps you daily as a teacher?
So my biggest secret that I have, so I'm going into my 4th year as an educator, and the biggest tip that I have is turning my clock off the moment that I leave school. It's very hard to create a work-life balance, but knowing that you're going to walk back in the building the next morning and everything that you left will still be there is okay, and you don't need to do it overnight. So try and find the balance of when you leave school, go home, be a parent, be a wife, and create that environment, because you can only be the best teacher possible if you're on your game. So when you come to school, take a deep breath. Every day is a new day, but make sure that you create that balance of work and life.
Laura, what about you? What is a secret that helps you daily as a teacher?
Well, let's see. I'm a mom of 3 boys, so I'm going to spin right off what Rachel said. There has to be a good balance. And with that, I guess I'll give some advice as to how I usually start my day and how I end my day. On the morning ride in, I drop my younger 2 off in elementary school, and I have a quiet vehicle, which is wonderful. And when I have that quiet vehicle, I like to really focus on praise music and centering myself before I enter the building each morning. Some mornings that might be quiet music that creates a stillness in me. Other mornings that might be loud, boisterous music that I'm just singing at the top of my lungs. But that's how I like to center my day. So I would encourage you, find a way in the morning for self-care that you can center yourself before you enter the building. And then at the end of my day, what I like to do is at the end of the day, just make sure my desk is clear. Make sure everything is kind of put back in its place. And I'm a to-do list maker for those of you guys that are list makers. And I just make a to-do list so that when I come in the next morning, my room is in order and I've got my to-do list kind of ready to go for the next day. So those would be some self-care tips I would share.
Thank you. Katie, what is the hardest lesson you have learned as a teacher?
Many lessons. I would say the hardest lesson is that you can't take the kids home with you at the end of the day. you love on them as much as you can during the school day, and you support them and encourage them. At the end of the day, we don't know what they go home to all the time, and so school may be the happiest and the best part of their day. So just know that you are that person for them, and just be there for them and support them the best you can.
What about you, Allison? What is the hardest lesson you've learned as a teacher?
Learned a lot of hard lessons my first 4 years. To kind of echo off of what Rachel and Laura were saying, I think the hardest lesson for me was to learn how to set boundaries. We talk about that a lot. Boundaries is one of those words that kind of freaks some people out, but kind of like what they were saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're not putting safeguards in place to protect your own mental sanity, so to say, this job can be draining. We know that we pour so much out to our kids. We want to be that positive person in their life, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So figuring out the boundaries that you need to have in your own life, whether that's turning your email off at 3 o'clock, whether that's starting your day a certain way. For me, it was taking 5 to 10 minutes during planning to just sit in the quiet and take a moment just to pull myself together. Sometimes it might be leaving at your contract time and having somebody that's going to hold you accountable to that. I had a friend my first year teaching that would set an alarm on my phone for my contract time that said, "Get out of here." Because we know, if not, we're going to just keep pouring and keep pouring and keep pouring, which is amazing, and our kids need us, but they need us to be our best self. Without boundaries in place, we're not going to be able to reach them the way that we need to.
Thank you. You've heard what a great place this is to work. So Sandy, why do you teach in Forsyth County?
As I said in my introduction, this is actually the only county I've taught in, so I reflected on why I stay in Forsyth County, and as Dr. Bearden said in his opening speech, it's not about test scores here, it's about relationships. It's about building the whole child and getting to know the whole child. Teaching math, there's a lot of emphasis on standardized testing, but not here. And that's what has been very important, is building those relationships. And when you do that, the success comes. The children do achieve. They do find their success. There wasn't any talk about lesson plans or strategies, although the county does provide excellent opportunities for you to achieve those and for you to be successful in that area as well. But it's all about relationships here, and that's what's important.
Christy, what about you? Why do you teach in Forsyth County?
Well, I am a Georgia native. I grew up just a little east of here and started teaching in a county over that way. And I moved here to Forsyth with my family and really just fell in love with the community. It's got that, it's not a small community, but it still has that small town feel. And the school system is exactly the same way. So, I moved over here. I wanted to teach here. My kids come to school here. It's such a positive environment. And working with students with disabilities, it's been amazing the level of support that I receive as a special educator within Forsyth County schools. So that has been a huge difference with my time here in Forsyth County. And the technology, guys, Forsyth is on it with the technology. And it was a big adjustment for me at first, but it's exactly what all of our students need, especially our students, who struggle academically and socially. It's such a fantastic way for them to access the community and the world around them. So it's great. Love it.
Thank you. Now I'd like for each one of our panelists to give you one final piece of advice.
The biggest piece of advice that I would say is, echoing off everything that everyone said, is Forsyth County is a family, and there's so much support here. And I was almost shocked coming from where I student taught in Middle Georgia and coming up here and people being like, how can I help you? And what do you need to succeed? Lean on those people. There's so many resources, so use them, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I know as a first-year teacher, it's a little intimidating walking into a room with people who have been teaching for multiple years. Just lean on them because they know what they're doing, but they'll also treat you like family. They're not going to judge you for what you're asking. They're going to help guide you in the way that Forsyth County builds their students.
So my biggest advice is to really think about and be able to control your stress level. Because whether you are a brand new teacher or you're new to Forsyth County, there are going to be so many things that are different, and there are going to be times that it's going to be really hard and it's going to feel like this big mountain of a problem and you can't do it all. So the mantra that I tell myself daily is, I'm only as stressed as I think I am. And it's so true. And it's just, if you can live your life that way, and it's a matter of just looking at things from a positive perspective. I can look at it and say, this is too much, there's no way I can get to it, I can't do it all, or I can look at it, I can get this done today. We're going to make our list like Laura. We're going to ask our colleagues for help. You know, we can get it all done, but we just need to keep that positive mindset. So that's what helps me get through. So I'm only as stressed as I think I am.
Rachel, you kind of stole mine of asking for help, so I'll give you guys another piece of advice. Find what you love. If you're not happy coming into work every day, figure out why. Why are you not happy? I promise you, this is an incredible county to work in. There are so many people, like Rachel said, that are here to support you and help you. Don't be afraid to ask for that help, but find what you love. If you're not happy in the role that you take on this year, figure out why and find what is going to make you happy. When you are happy and pouring out to your students from a place of you are fully content in what you're doing and you love what you do and are passionate about it, your kids are going to notice, and it's going to make an even bigger impact on them, whether that's teaching math, whether that's teaching other educators, whether that's in special ed. You have to find what makes you happy so that you can pour out of a place from pure joy.
My best piece of advice, very similar to everybody up here, but to give your very best every day. One of my favorite quotes by an American distance runner was, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. And you all have so many gifts and talents, we all do. And if we just give our very best when we're at school, we can go home every day, walk out of the building, and rest assured knowing that we gave nothing less.
I'm going to say ditto to all of that. That is excellent advice. I'm going to take a little bit of a turn and kind of talk to you about some advice that I received a little bit later, not my first year. But as you go into your classroom, you're going to start hearing about that child that may not have behaved well the last year or may not have been successful. My advice to you is to give them a clean slate. We all deserve a clean slate. Give that to them. Find some way for them to be successful. The past couple of years in my classroom, I've found that student and I've asked them to move a couple of desks for me or asked them to move some heavy boxes. Then I called home and I told Mom, oh wow, little Johnny was so helpful today. He just, I asked him to do something for me. He didn't complain, he jumped in. And it was just, it made the difference. And then when I did have to call Mom about little Johnny because maybe he wasn't being himself that day, the amount of support that I received was just unbelievable. So you deserve a clean slate, your students deserve a clean slate. So just make sure you give that to them.
All right, wow. I have to kind of rethink because I agree with everything they've said. I'm going to kind of do like Sandy. I'm going to spin it in a different direction to end. I attended the Ron Clark Academy this year as a professional learning. If you have the chance to do that, go. It is absolutely amazing. One of the best pieces of advice I pulled, Ron Clark lets you have some question answer time, and I was able to meet with him one-on-one during lunch, and I asked him, what is your best piece of advice that I can take back to my aspiring teachers in my teaching pathway? And I loved what he said. It was so unexpected. He said, the best piece of advice I can give you is to make sure you teach them to support and cheer on and empower each other. And I was like, wow, like that, it was not what I expected. And when I think about that in Forsyth County, I think what that looks like is working in your school to really build those relationships, like Dr. Bearden said, but it goes all the way down to your custodial staff, to your cafeteria staff, to, of course, those that are on your team, but get to know everyone in your school. You're going to have questions, you're going to need answers, but cheer on those people around you, and don't compare yourself to the very best that you see in your colleagues, because they may have been teaching many, many years. If there's an excellent bulletin board they put up, go tell them, support them, cheer them on. And I think that that is really the best way to stay connected in your schools, is really just to support and encourage your colleagues and build those strong relationships.
Thank you all. As you can see, we have great teachers, and you've gotten a lot of great advice today. You're going to find colleagues just like these ladies next door to you, across the hall from you, and we hope that you'll learn not only from their experience, but from the ones across the hall and next door to you. Let's give them a round of applause. It is now time to take a 30-minute break to stretch your legs and to walk through our vendors. We also have a Forsyth County Teacher T-shirt for you. Please pick them up in the middle of the hallway before you leave today. Our local businesses and organizations are spread throughout the hallway, and they're eager to meet you. Please be back at 9:40.
And got to meet some of our vendors and our sponsors who support our district so beautifully. My name is Leanne Rice. I'm the Associate Superintendent for Teaching and Learning here in Forsyth County, and we have a special treat for you right now. One of our recent Forsyth County graduates was a contestant on The Voice on season 17.
And she is here to perform 2 songs for you. Please join me in welcoming Caroline Riley.
Hello. So yes, I'm Caroline Riley. I'm going to be singing 2 songs for you guys today. The first one is actually a song I wrote myself. It's kind of about how you can lose yourself in situations with drama, whether that be a relationship, whether that be dealing with other relationships, people, whatever, wherever that may be, school, work. It's kind of about all that. So you might relate to this, you may have related to it in the past, or you may have had students that can relate to this, whatever the case may be. This song is called Best of Me. I hope you enjoy. Hold on. That would be embarrassing if I kept going, oh my gosh.
I lost my one true self. Wish I was somewhere else. I gave it all I could. I'm so misunderstood. It's not about what you see. The curtain is closed. Oh, look at me. Oh, I wish that I could. Wish that I could only see. I wish that I could.
right, so yes, that was an original. This next one's a cover. I don't know if you've heard of the band Green Day, if you like them or not, but yeah, they're actually playing in Atlanta tonight. I think there's some tickets left for sale, if anyone's like. So yeah, this next one is their song Good Riddance. I believe this one came out in the early 2000s. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But this is one of my favorites, and I thought this one had a great message of like starting anew, continuing on. So I thought you would like this one.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you're at the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and desking on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you're at the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you're at the time of your life. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I hope this is an amazing new school year for everybody.
Thank you, Caroline, for that amazing performance. What incredible talent we have here in Forsyth County Schools. Please join me in giving her one more round of applause. This morning, Dr. Bearden spoke to us about Forsyth County Schools being a family, and he is so right, in both the literal and figurative sense. I'm a mom to two twins who are seniors at Forsyth Central High School. I am an aunt to a junior at Denmark High School, and I am the sister to a 7th grade math teacher at DeSana Middle School. So whether you have blood relations here or not, just know that you are joining an incredible family. So thank you for saying yes to Forsyth County Schools. Each of you was chosen for a reason to be here. When you came to your interview, when you met your team, the interview team, your administrators, your principal, they saw something amazing in you, and they chose you. You are here for a reason. You have a specific purpose, and I want you to be confident in that purpose as you use your gifts and talents to serve and support those around you. And I challenge you to also look for those gifts and talents in the students in which you teach. They each bring something amazing, and one of your most important roles is to help find that in those children and help draw it out of them so they become the people that they're meant to be. I am excited for your journey. I am excited for you to share those gifts and talents, and I'm excited for you to shine your light. And it's my privilege now to introduce you to someone who shines her light very brightly. Our 2021 Forsyth County Schools Teacher of the Year, Kim Sarfati. Kim teaches special education pre-K at Chestatee Elementary. She received her bachelor's degree from the University of Georgia. She began teaching in 2000 and came to Forsyth County Schools in 2008. Kim, thank you for joining us today.
Caroline, your performance was amazing. Way to go, girl. Thank you, Mrs. Rice, and thank you and Dr. Bearden for your wonderful leadership. To the 6 finalists, you all are amazing. What an honor it is to have gotten to know you. And what an honor it is to be a special education preschool teacher in Forsyth County at Chastity Elementary School, my happy place. Welcome, friends, to our family. If I could come give each of you a big hug right now, I would. What a treasure it is to be here with you today. I love beginning each school year meeting new people, because with new people comes new passions, new gifts, and new treasures. And you are our treasure. If I could choose one word in education that means the most to me, it would be family. You are an important part of our family. You can see you are at the top of our family tree. As you walk into your classroom this week, always remember that families take good care of one another. Being a special education teacher, I have completed lots of rating scales over the years, with one being you could crawl under a desk and hide right now, and 5 being you could take on the world. Think about where you are on the scale. No matter where you are, it is okay. I've been there. These wonderful educators have been there. You are going to be surrounded by people at your school that have been there. We understand, and we are here for you. We are one big family. We are stronger and better together. We are connected. Together, we create family by not only teaching our students to follow our learner profile, but by discovering the treasures in our days and following the learner profile ourselves. Interact effectively with others. As soon as you step out of your car and walk towards your school, look at it as one huge treasure chest. You are a treasure, there to discover and share treasures each day. Greet your students with a smile and kind word as they enter your classroom. Greet a hardworking custodian as you walk down the hallway. Thank a cafeteria staff member as you walk through the line to get your food. For some, the smiles and kind words shared together at school may be the only treasures they receive in their day. My Chastity family is a treasure. Office staff, custodians, cafeteria workers, administrators, counselors, the social worker, volunteers, the school resource officer, therapists, instructional assistants, student interns, media center specialists, the family engagement coordinator, the quality work facilitator, the ITS, and teachers. Love, value, and treasure your people. My instructional assistant and team of therapists who I am blessed to work with are my treasures. I seek and appreciate help from them daily. We pursue continuous learning and collaborate together to discover our students' many treasures. Spread joy and light others up from the inside out. Shine so bright that others have no choice but to light up with you. Teaching at Chastity at a Title I school is a treasure. One of the things I am thankful for is our community support through grants, donations, and volunteers. Our community is a treasure. As Dr. Bearden says, it takes everyone working together, home, school, and community, to create the best schools. It is a treasure being a Forsyth County educator. Exhibit strong personal qualities and treasure positive relationships built with your students. Ask them how they feel. Make sure they've eaten. Listen, love, smile, take turns, and share. Validate their needs with an empathetic heart. Teach your students to be respectful, responsible problem solvers. This is our school motto and a treasure to me, thanks to our amazing leader and principal, Dr. Polly Tennis. Whether my sweet friends are 3 and not speaking words yet, or 5 and a typical peer role model, every single child is a unique treasure, has a purpose and a value in our family. Professor Dr. James Comer says it best when he says no significant learning can occur without first a significant relationship. Our students may not remember what you say, they may not remember what you do, but they will remember the way you make them feel. Make sure they feel treasured. Our classroom's going to come up in just a minute on the screen. This is my classroom, my happy place, and these are some of my sweet friends. Engage your students and engage with your students. Our students learn best through play, so worn knees on my pants are a treasure to me, because I know when I am down on my knees, face to face, eye to eye with my kids, I am not talking to them. I am sharing time with them. Making connections with your students is a treasure. Treasure positive relationships built with your students' families. Whether your students are beginning school at 3 years old, like my sweet friends, beginning middle school, or getting ready to graduate high school like some of your students, they are someone's precious treasure, and we are entrusted with their precious treasure. Love someone's treasure and love being with their treasure. Communicate with family members by using the sandwich method. Share a positive word about their child, put the not so good in the middle, and end with a positive word. Make sure families know you are on their side. No matter what families are going through at home, whether they have a child with special needs or a child who may be struggling with anxiety. A one-parent family working as hard as they can to provide food, or a two-parent family whose child is having difficulty making friends. No one wants to feel alone. The words, "You are not alone," "I am here to help," and "we will get through it," go a long way. It builds trust, love, understanding, and most importantly, it builds family. I empathize with my families. My own father was deaf. This is him right here at the bottom. For many years growing up, I was his voice. I answered phone calls and relayed messages to him. He read lips, so I talked a little slower and looked at him when I spoke. The process of delivering the message was most important, for that determined the product or the outcome of the message. My 3 and 4 precious preschool students who have special needs teach me what a treasure the process of their learning is. One day, during a snowman activity, one of my sweet girls decided that she wanted to wear the hat and the scarf herself instead of dressing up the snowman that we had there. I had to be flexible and give her a voice in her learning. She couldn't tell me by using words, but she communicated it to me when she held tight to that hat and scarf. The process of her learning was important. This is my sweet little friend and I enjoying our lesson together, and she sure was happy when I let her keep the hat and scarf. Some of my other sweet friends in our class wanted to finish dressing our snowman. I had an extra hat that day, and I asked my friends what we could use to create another scarf. One of my sweet little fellas said, "Miss Kim, let's use tissue paper to create the scarf." What a wonderful problem solver he was. Discover treasure and create family by being flexible, by giving your students a voice, by providing opportunities for your students to problem solve and utilize their creative and critical thinking, by trusting the process. I wear a bracelet on my wrist every day to remind me of that. It says, "Trust the process." Your flexibility and the way you respond are your daily lessons. Words written down on a lesson plan are important, but they are not what is most important. Those plans are going to change, and your sweet students will sure make sure of that. Treasure your students' abilities. Remember, there are no disabilities, only abilities and treasures. I would love to share with you about my own 3 children. My daughter, Katie, was born 3 months prematurely, weighing 2.5 pounds, and spent almost 2 months in the hospital. This is Katie up at the top. 10 days went by before I could hold her for the first time. I saw past the IV in her head, the tubes and the wires surrounding her body. I saw ability. Katie is now 19 and in the nursing program at UNG. Our son Matthew, who's up top in the middle, was born having seizures, one that even lasted 10 minutes long. When the doctor came in and shared the news that he didn't know what the outcome of his little brain would be after his seizures, I said, no matter what, there is no disability, only ability. Matthew is 12 and a fun-loving, active boy who enjoys playing sports. And our son Michael, who's the third picture up there, he was born a healthy 8-pound, 10-ounce baby. My classroom experiences with my students helped me recognize that when Michael was around 9 months old, he held his left hand in a tight fist often, and he didn't use it much. He wasn't crawling. So at his checkup, I was Michael's voice, and I expressed my concerns. Michael was later diagnosed with cerebral palsy when he was about a year old. He has worn many braces on his hand and feet, and he's had many therapy sessions over the years. Michael is now 9, and when he says, "Mommy, I can do it," as he plays baseball, I hear his beliefs in his own abilities. He believes that he is an all-star baseball player, and whether he is or he isn't, what matters is his belief in himself and his abilities. See the abilities and treasures. They are there in each and every one of your students. You have the chance to make each student feel as if they are an all-star, a genius, a treasure. And what they believe about themselves now sets a strong foundation for who they will become. Connect with others, build positive relationships, and discover the many treasures in your days ahead. As I opened the door to my classroom last week, I was welcomed with many boxes, lots of toys, and furniture, a lot of stuff. And being a special education teacher for almost 20 years, I have a lot of stuff. And no worries when you're standing there at that door and don't know where to start. This is my 20th year, and sometimes we still have that feeling, so it's okay. As I stood there in what could appear as chaos, to me, it's really a treasure. I look down and I see this. It's a little plastic ice cube. And this brought a smile to my face. As I remembered back last year during a lesson where our sweet friends were playing in pretend snow, I had hidden little manipulatives for them to find in their snow. One of my sweet fellows discovered this ice cube hidden in his snow, and he held it up high when he found it with excitement, and he shouted, "Miss Kim, I found treasure." And in that moment, in a simple plastic ice cube, he had found treasure. Let's have the heart and eyes of a 3-year-old. Find the treasures. They are there. You are a treasure. Your students are a treasure. Your families are a treasure. Your teammates are a treasure. Our community is a treasure. Interact effectively with others. Pursue continuous learning. Exhibit strong personal qualities. Engage and contribute. utilize creative and critical thinking, and when we do these things, when we teach our students to do these things and discover and share our treasures, we come together as one big family. Welcome to our family.
Thank you, Kim. Wherever you went, I think the entire crowd would join me in saying that you are a treasure. So let's give her another round of applause, please. The Forsyth County Education Foundation was created in 2015 to foster innovation and increase student achievement by unifying resources not ordinarily provided by the district's operating budget. We like to think that means we make things happen for teachers in the classroom and for schools across our county. Over the past 6 years, the foundation has awarded over $240,000 in grants to schools and teachers just like you. We will give out more grants this August after our successful fundraiser this spring called the Duck Dive for Education. If you don't know what the Duck Dive is, please stay tuned. We need Duck Dive champions out there. We want you to know about what it is, and we want you to tell everyone you know. We are continually working with our community to raise funds to give out more grants to teachers, and I'm proud to announce, as you may have seen in the recent news, we were able to raise over $100,000 in the most recent Duck Dive fundraiser. As you've already heard today, the learner profile is the end in mind for Forsyth County Schools. Every grant the foundation gives out must align with the learner profile. We would now like for you to hear about the life of a student in Forsyth County Schools and how our students live out their learner profile every day. I would like to ask our 5 students and my fellow foundation governing board members to come on the stage. At this time, you will hear from each student about an attribute of the learner profile. First up, we have Denicia Hines and Brad Collins.
All right, hello. I'm Denicia, and I'll be talking about continue pursuing education. I have often heard high school experiences described as easy and difficult, mediocre and exciting, dull and life-changing. But if I had to sum up my experience with one word, I would use the word opportunity. Over the past 4 years, I have had the privilege of participating in a wide variety of classes and activities at North Forsyth High School. By participating in advanced and AP courses, I was able to push myself academically. So I took a lot of the AP honors courses, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna restart that whole sentence. Okay. So by participating in advanced and AP courses, I was able to push myself academically. Yes, it was challenging, and yes, there were many long nights studying, but these classes taught me valuable skills that will help prepare me for college and career success. These classes required a strong work ethic, dedication, and resilience, characteristics that I now possess. I am proud of the different activities that I participated in, as they helped me develop talents, passions, and interests. From marching band and a slight attempt at color guard to dance team and even participating in the Raider podcast, I enjoyed a wide variety of activities at my high school. I was even president of the Future Health Professionals during my junior and senior year. I'm very thankful for that club, as it helped me develop my interest in healthcare and shape the future that I see for myself in medicine. I've been blessed to attend numerous conferences and spend time with the brightest upcoming nurses and doctors. That club has significantly impacted my future, and I'm very grateful for that. By participating in technology-based classes, such as Intro to Technology and Video, and even the Raider podcast, I was introduced to cutting-edge technology. I'm definitely not tech savvy. I'll go to take a selfie and take pictures of the sky because I have no idea. But these classes showed me how to use advanced equipment and Adobe programs. Knowing how to use these programs allowed me to present more sophisticated projects in my classes and will hopefully facilitate the completion of my college assignments too. As for my future, I am very grateful for the opportunities given to me at North Forsyth High School, but it is time for me to move on to the next phase of my life. Undoubtedly, I will experience hardships in the future, but hopefully these opportunities will help me endure tough times, flourish in life, and continue pursuing education. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have,
Hi, my name is Jacob Gomez. North there.
Thank you. My name is Noah Gamez, and I'm in the 5th grade at Brookwood Elementary.
Okay, my first question is, what is your favorite part of school?
My favorite part of school is when I get to read because I am able to read books that I like. I also like that I get to write stories that interest me.
Great. What is the activity do you participate in both in school and outside the school?
I'm involved in dojo and baseball outside of school, and inside of school, I participated in the school spelling bee.
Tell me more about a goal that you achieved this past year.
Last year, we read the first book in the book series Percy Jackson in our class. I started the first book, and I liked it so much I completed the other 5 in the series by the time my class completed the first book. That was a personal goal I achieved.
Oh, that's great, Noah. How do you work with your friends and peers at school?
In math, I help my friends by telling them how to add or subtract numbers or tell them what the problem means. I'm a good friend because I invite new people to join my game at recess.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day.
Have an amazing day too.
thank you, Noah. Next up, discussing creative and critical thinking, we have Nimel Morgan and our board member, Michael Barron.
Good morning, all. My name is Nimel Morgan, and I'm from South Forsyth Middle School. I'm attending it as a 7th grader. Today, I'm going to talk about how critical thinking and problem solving play an important role in my life. I interpret critical thinking as thinking outside the box, or in other words, thinking in a way more innovative than usual. I think that critical thinking and problem solving go hand in hand because you need to think outside the box to solve a problem. Problems are challenges, and challenges are solvable. They just require more thinking. I won the Forsyth County Spelling Bee this year with the help of critical thinking and hard work. An example of this are roots. Roots are small parts of words which you can use to break a larger word down. A word with many roots is pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis, the longest word in the dictionary. The roots in this word is pneumono, meaning lung, ultra, meaning super, micro, meaning small, scopic, meaning viewing, and others. Using these roots, a long word can be broken down. Similarly, I can use language rules and pattern matching to analyze a word and find insight on how to spell it. With problems, I can split them into small goals, then solve these small goals. Using critical thinking daily empowers your life. You can use critical thinking as a kid and as an adult. Creative thinking must be used in a situation where you can be creative. A situation where you can be creative, an example of a situation where you can be creative is the school year after the pandemic. I've had to adapt to the online platform using various online tools and figuring things out on my own in a creative way. This has been more difficult than normal school, but like any other challenge, it can be solved. I think that critical thinking, creative thinking, and problem solving are very similar because they have the same goal: to enhance your thinking to understand a problem, then solve it. Once you master these traits, you can easily become more confident in everything that you do. Thank you for the opportunity.
Next up, to discuss Engage and Contribute, we have Colt Snook and our board member, Lori Cole.
Hi, my name is Colt Snook, and I'm a 6th grader at North Forsyth Middle School. My family runs a school and feeding program in Nicaragua. Most people in Nicaragua live on less than $2 each day and eat rice and beans 2 or 3 meals every day. Doesn't that sound awful to us Americans who live on $10 almost every meal and drink $4 coffees from Starbucks? When we're there in Nicaragua, it is easy to focus on the sadness of the living conditions and the hunger. But when I see my friends, Tito and Wilbur, we laugh and play together even though we don't speak the same language. The thing is, these friends live in basically huts with dirt floors, but they choose joy and focus on what they do have, like friends and family. I've been going to Nicaragua since I was 6. That means I've spent 6 years playing with my friends without knowing what they're even saying. Even though I don't speak Spanish, that doesn't stop me from playing with my friends. I've learned that I have more in common with Wilbur and Tito than I have different. I want to learn and go to school. They love their family. They love to play soccer, ride on their bikes, and they love ice cream. If I had never traveled to a place like Nicaragua, I might not understand how much I have to be thankful for. Serving with my family in Nicaragua has been a game changer for me. Thank you.
Last but not least, to discuss interacting effectively, we have Tate Light and her father, Christopher Light.
Good morning, I'm Christopher Light. I grew up in Forsyth County Schools. I went to Coal Mountain, North Middle, and North High. Now my daughter is about to start 1st grade at Cumming Elementary. She's in the DLI program, which is literally the only acronym in the school system I've committed to memory, but it stands for Dual Language Immersion Program. They go to school half the day in Spanish only and half the day in English only. So, ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Tate. Tate Light.
Tate, do you, does everybody in your class speak English?
No, some people speak English and some people speak Spanish.
So do you guys work together and help each other out?
Yes, the Spanish kids help us out.
With your Spanish? Yeah. So what are some of the things that they've taught you and that you've learned in the class?
They taught me necesito ir al baño.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means I need to go to the bathroom.
What else did they teach you?
They taught me necesita ayuda.
What does that mean?
It means I need help.
So can you do your multiples of 10 all the way to 100 in Spanish?
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. What a great example of the treasures that we have in our school system. We appreciate you all sharing with us, and want you to, of course, again, watch out for the efforts of the foundation. We appreciate your support. Every dollar we raise in our efforts for the Duck Dive go to work in the classrooms, and that's our pledge to you. So thank you all, and I'm now going to turn it back to Dr. Bearden to close this out.
How cute was that? Not you, Christopher. Although he's a pretty good-looking guy, I have to admit that. I want to thank the members of our Education Foundation for being here, and of course our students for talking about what the learner profile means to them. Also a special recognition once again for our 7 Teacher of the Year finalists from 2021. Please join me in thanking them once again for their words of wisdom this morning. I noticed some of you picked up yardsticks from Evan Profeta at State Farm. I think it's appropriate for me to tell you, those are not classroom management tools. This is not a Catholic school, so please do not be wrapping your students with those yardsticks. And don't drink before you come to school, right? If you didn't learn anything else today, you can tell your friends, man, what's it like to work in Forsyth County Schools? I picked up 2 great tips. Do not drink and come to school, and don't hit my kids with yardsticks. You'll remember that. I do want to thank everyone that's been involved in today's program for giving all of you a great overview of Forsyth County Schools. There were a number of people involved to make this happen. I don't dare try to name them all because I'll leave somebody out. But please, I tell you what, if you are involved in making today happen, please stand so we can recognize you. Don't be shy. Someone said earlier in Forsyth County Schools, we strive to make it happen every day, and we do. And we're thrilled to have you. We look forward to seeing the greatness that comes from this amazing, talented group of educators. I had a chance to interact with some of you in the corridor, and we're just so happy to have you here. As you know, August 5th, which is a week from tomorrow, no, it's not. August 5th, it's a week from Thursday, will be the first day of school. I am beginning my 32nd year in education. Don't try to do the math and figure out how old I am. I'm 58, I'll just tell you. I don't look it right. So on the night of August 4th, and this has happened every year I've been in this business, I will sleep very, very little the night of August 4th. And to be honest with you, and no offense, I hope you don't either. And I'll tell you why. A restless night will simply mean that you care, that you're excited. Please bring that enthusiasm with you on day 1 and bring it with you every single day this school year. Your students deserve for you to be at your best every single day. That doesn't mean you're not going to have bad days and unsuccessful days. We all do. But strive to be at your best every day. And one final piece of advice. And a couple of our teachers mentioned this, and I was so proud that they did because I believe it to my core. If you want to be at your professional best, you must take great care of you. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever that means to you, take great care of yourself. Strive to find that work-life balance. It will be the key to your success. And always remember this. You matter. You're important. Please take great care of you. Thank you for choosing this profession. Thank you for choosing Forsyth County Schools. I hope you have a great rest of your day and an awesome school year. Thank you, folks.